It's been 2 weeks since Jesus left the building, and no one has seen him since. We find Simon Peter and the other disciples not in Jerusalem, and not in church, and not preaching the gospel. Instead, we find them at home, in the only place and profession they'd ever known, before Jesus had first met them on that same shore 3 years earlier. Today, our gospel starts on that shoreline, along the imperfect edge between water and land. John places the disciples at the shore of the Sea of Tiberias. You may know it by its more common name, the Sea of Galilee. The disciples were from Galilee. They knew its haunts and its hillsides and its fishing holes like the backs of their hands. And that night they got into the boat and they pushed out from the shore, but they caught nothing. Have you ever returned to a place or a person you knew well, only to find that all the life and joy has drained from it? It might be your hometown, a former relationship, an old job, a once reliable hobby. But when you cast your net and wait for its reliable harvest, there is none. This absence is a dreadful feeling, for it reveals itself precisely among the people and at the places we thought we knew so well. What happened? Why am I not catching anything? What's wrong? Jesus shows up just after daybreak in his most favorite disguise, the stranger. Incognito, he calls to them from the shore and asks them a deceptively simple question. Children, you have no fish, have you? To their credit, the disciples offer no lies, no exaggerations, no pretense, no blame. They do not say, actually, we almost had a really big one, but it got away. Or, you know what, we had some small ones, but we tossed them back. Or, next time we're going to try a spot that's more reliable. Or, I told the guys the conditions were lousy, but they wouldn't listen to me. Instead, they utter the most important word in this entire story and the only one that can save them. No. Almost no one ever is brave enough to offer Jesus a one-word response to anything. In the liturgical life of the church, today is about the closest we get. In baptism, all the abundance and the power of the life of God is distilled down into only 2 words: no and yes. Following the courage of our baptismal candidates and their families, we will say no to the forces of wickedness and yes to the power of God. No lies, no exaggerations, no pretense, no blame. God shows up today along the shoreline, at that shimmering edge between water and land. Jesus showed himself again to the disciples, and he showed himself in this way. Abundance is wherever Jesus is. I close with a quote from Albert Schweitzer. Schweitzer was an organist, philosopher, theologian, and later a medical missionary in Africa. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1952. And I found his words about Jesus fitting to our text and our occasion today. He comes to us as one unknown, without a name, as of old, by the lakeside. He came to those men who knew him not. He speaks to us the same word, "Follow thou me," and sets us to the tasks which he has to fulfill for our time. He commands, and to those who obey him, whether they be wise or simple, he will reveal himself in the toils, the conflicts, the sufferings which they shall pass through in his fellowship. And as an ineffable mystery, they shall learn in their own experience who he is. Amen.